We are going to start by creating our armature. And our armature is basically the foundation of our sculpture. So it's going to be made from a few different parts. It's going to be made from pipe cleaners, newspaper or newsprint, and then eventually masking tape. And then after that, we put the paper mache on top. So this just helps give us a place to make sure that our stick figure here is in the right position so we can, make it how we want to. So the first thing we're going to do is everybody is going to get 3 pipe cleaners. What we're going to do is we're going to make the head attached to the torso. We're going to make the arms, and then we're going to make the legs. So the first thing we're going to do to make the head is we're basically going to cross one end over the other end to make a loop. So I'm just holding both ends here. There's a little bend, and I'm crossing them. And now I see a loop starting to happen. I'm going to twist, pinch and twist. Now I have a head, I have a little bit of a neck, and this part is actually going to be my torso. So at first you might think it's perfect for arms. They're actually not long enough. Look, if you try to stretch them up over your head, they won't be long enough. So we're going to turn this into the torso. And at this point you can actually take the ends here and you can give them a little twist because that's going to hold our legs. Okay, so now I have my head, I have my body. Now I'm ready to stick my arms in here. I'm going to thread it through this loop, and I'm just going to twist to secure it. So basically what I'm doing when I'm twisting it is I'm crossing one end over the other, and I'm pinching it a little bit. Now, if you do this and you realize one arm is way too long, you could just fold it over. You're actually not going to see that when we finish our sculpture. So what's important here is you're making sure that this part isn't sliding around. And if it is, you're going to go ahead and you're going to twist it one more time. Cross it over and cross. Okay, I might want to even this out a little bit better. All right, and then finally we are going to do the legs. You thread this through here. You twist the bottom part up because you want these to be nice and secure. And you can even bend it for that hip line. And now I might even start to bend feet here. Okay. So again, you wanna bend this bottom part up, and you can also, if it's not secure enough, you could do a little twist again. Okay, nice. Now I have my stick figure and I'm ready for the next step. Okay, so now I have my pipe cleaner and I'm gonna take a look at my figure drawing here because this is what we planned. And you might at this point have your actual gesture drawing. It might be more detailed. As long as you have that kind of stick figure situation, that's going to be super helpful for you. So you want to take a look at this gesture now. And just like when we were looking at this from real life, when we were looking at our people to draw it, we're going to be looking at our drawing to position our pipe cleaner here. So I'm looking at all of the different bends. I'm noticing that my shoulders are out straight, so I'm going to make sure I have that. I have a bend in my elbow going up over my head, and same here. Oh, it looks like I actually shortened this too much. So now I can go ahead and fix that up a little bit. Now if I want to, I can actually hook them up in here, or I could just leave it for now. Now I'm going to take a look at the bend in the knee. I see one leg is straight, so I'm going to keep that one straight. And now I'm going to bend the other one. And really notice where your bend is happening. It's not happening all the way up here. It's happening about halfway down the leg. So I can even bend this a little bit further down. Okay, so now I've positioned it together like this. Now what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take some pieces of paper. It doesn't matter what kind. We're going to probably use recycled newspaper. I'm going to start off by creating the head. Now this pipe cleaner part, this is like the bones. It's like the skeleton. This part is going to be like kind of like the organs or the fat inside. So we're going to take this ball, and the first thing we're going to do is we are going to crumple it for the head. And we're going to stick it right inside here. Now you want to make sure you have enough. You don't want it to be too small. You want it to be the right size for the head. After each little section, I'm going to take a piece of masking tape, and as long as there's enough paper in there, you're good to go. You're good to start taping. So I'm going to take a little piece of tape, and I'm going to start to wrap it. And this is kind of acting like the muscles, keeping all of our organs and fat and everything together. Try to keep this as smooth as you can. That's going to help your paper mache go on even smoother. So if it's getting a little bumpy, just go add another layer of tape. Okay. And let's say I start doing this and I realize it's not big enough. What can I do? I can just add more. Okay, so now I have my head done. As you're going, you might need to reposition these arms and legs and everything. That's totally fine. I'm going to keep going. So the next step is I'm going to crumple it up again. And I'm going to start to add it onto my torso. This part, it's going to be a little bit tricky, so you need to be patient with yourself. Oh, one thing I want to say is when you're taping over these arms, make sure you're not taping them down. So see how I went to go put this tape here, and now if I do that, it's going to kind of get this part stuck. See that? You can tear the tape a little bit. It takes some working, and it might be a little bit wonky. It might be a little bit potato shape. You just need to go back and keep adding to where you think you need it. So again, if I'm starting to lose my shoulders here, or I don't really have a neck yet, that's what I'm going to do. I might tear off a smaller part of my paper, and I might crumple it up and add it in here. Again, your goal is to get it as smooth and not lumpy as possible. Keeping in mind, you're using masking tape and newspaper, so it will be challenging, it will be tricky, but you can do it. Now I want to show you what to do for the arms and the legs. You want to make sure it's still, every time you finish a section, go back and just fix up the area. So you're remembering that there's a bend. You want to do each part on its own. So, for example, both of my arms are bent. So I'm going to do one section of my arm and I'm going to stop. Then I'll do the second section. So wherever the bend is, that makes a section. If one leg or one arm is completely straight, then that's one whole section. You could do it on its own if you want to. I'm taking my paper, I'm crumpling it to about the same size. And I'm adding. Okay, so you're going to wrap your newspaper all around your pipe cleaner to beef it up a little bit. Add the masking tape to keep it in place. to make it as lump free as possible. It's not going to be perfect, and that's totally fine. And just continue. You're going to see me doing two kinds of things here. I'm wrapping the newspaper around the pipe cleaner, but I'm also crumpling it up and laying it next to the pipe cleaner. Do what works best for you. There's no right or wrong way. Just try to beef up that pipe cleaner. Okay, so when you're close to being done, I need to cover this, but if your figure is in a position and it's not going to move, you don't need to add any props inside, like any accessories, like you're not holding something, you can tape it together. I taped the hands up here together. And now I'm going to go tape my foot onto the inside of my thigh. You also, when you think you're done, just double check, do you need to add any more skin anywhere? Like I could probably add a little bit more over here, because right now I can't really tell where the front or the back of my figure is. So I'm just gonna go ahead and add some things here. I'm gonna tape my foot to my inner knee so it's a little bit more secure. Okay, so here is my figure sculpture so far. So if I finished early, one thing I could do is I can just go back and fix up some of these lumpy areas by just adding another cleaner layer of tape over it. This isn't necessary, like you don't need to do this, but it will help you when you go to add your paper mache. It'll help make it a little bit smoother. So if you have the time, you can do that. If you don't, then you'll just get through as much as you can get through today. And just double check that all of your little areas have tape over it. Like double check, I have some areas here and in the neck. You want to make sure it's pretty secure. So when you go to actually make your sculpture, it's not slipping and sliding around. The last thing you need to do is write your name and class code on the back. The class code is super important, so don't forget that. Okay,